Hey y'all, it's Steve, Hobo with Wood. And this is going to be a short video for me. I'm going to go over just 2 tips that I've learned this weekend that I think my viewers are going to really appreciate. So let's get right to it. So the 2 tips I'm going to talk about in this video are, 1, the ability to undo while in node editing, and 2, how to save time when you're engraving a large batch of objects, or even possibly just one design that's a lot of engraving. A way to cut down on a lot of your excessive travel. Right, during my first ever solo live stream on YouTube, I showed how I design this box start to finish. And in doing so, there was a conversation or a topic that was brought up about they wish they had the ability to undo while editing and node edits. You've made a change and you're in node editing, and now you need to undo and it wouldn't work. Well, I stated in that live stream that it does work. Sometimes. Don't know when or why or how, but it did work, has worked, but I could never make it work all the time. I couldn't figure out what the process was, what the steps were to make it work. And I've said it in many videos that in LightBurn, priority matters. Priority is everything. What you select first when you're going to use your Boolean tools versus whatever. You have to, even from selecting a new layer while you're going to pick a line, if you've got something on the table already selected and then you go down to pick a new layer, well, it's going to change that to the new layer instead of going for your... So you have to unselect. So priority matters. You have to do things in a very specific order to get the result that you want when you're working in LightBurn. Well, after that live stream, I got a comment from one of my viewers who explained how they get it to work. And lo and behold, I checked it. That's the priority. And let's look here at LightBurn. I posted this into my LightBurn page because I want to give proper props to @Deadwood-JQ7FW. They just posted, with node edit, I found that if you click away from the object, then go Control-Z, and it will undo what I've changed. Now, Control-Z is the keyboard shortcut for the undo button. So I will just scroll up here and hit the undo button instead of reaching up and doing the keyboards, because I've got the mouse in my hand anyway. So let's test his or her theory. And I love the name Deadwood, because that's actually the graphic that's used in the Hobo with Wood thumbnails. Is Deadwood is the font. Alright, so let's take a look and see what Deadwood is talking about. So the first thing I'm going to do, let's get the page zoomed in here. I'm going to draw out a polygon. I'm going to convert it to a path. Show my nodes. Now I'm in node editing. So if I hover over this node and hit the letter D and undo, it works. If I just hover over it, don't select it, just hover over it, hit the letter D, hover over this one, hit the letter D, and how it undo, it works. If I grab this node, pull it down here, and hit undo, nothing happens. Hit Control-Z, nothing happens. If I grab this one over here and hit undo, nothing happens. grab this one, undo, nothing happens. Now, you may not notice it, some of you may already have noticed it, but since we got the chasing lines on here, the Vegas lights, the ants, whatever you want to call them, they're on there regardless when we're in node editing. But, so it's hard to tell, because that's an indication that this is a selected item, right? But when you're in node editing, if a node is actually selected, it will be red. So if I come over here anywhere and just click off of that, see it turn back to gray or whatever. There it's selected, there it's not. And when something is selected while you're in node editing, like that node is now, and you hit undo, nothing's going to happen. But if you click off of it, and so you're not selecting any nodes, you can undo all that, or you can redo all that. So, Deadwood, thank you. Thank you from all of my viewers. And Deadwood, if you, it's been a while since anyone's given me such a super fantabulous tip that I've actually had to call somebody out and say, hey, this is how you do this, and thanks to this, or this person, I used to get it a lot when I was first starting out, and I just didn't know what I was doing, and people were helping me left and right. If you are interested and you would like to have a free check out my wood, Hobo with Wood t-shirt, if you contact me at hobowithwood@gmail.com, I will send you out a t-shirt, and I've got multiple colors. I'd be happy to send you one out free of charge. So now, let's look at the second time-saving tip. So how many of you found yourself this time of year cranking out a bunch of the same thing? A bunch of ornaments or gift cards, whatever. Maybe you do it all year long. You have a batch of a particular job that you're just cranking out, an array of the same thing. Well, this is how I save a ton of time when I'm sending those jobs to the laser. So let's jump into LightBurn and take a look at this. So right now, this is what I've got going on the laser. And because I'm working with some 4.5mm wood, I'm actually doing my engraving first, and then I will switch over to my cutting and lower my focus so that I can get cut through that in a single pass. So that right now I'm doing my engraving only. And when I look at this, these are all identical. Every one of them is the same one. It's just an array of the same ornament. And it's, oh look, it's my last, and it's hanging by a string. And then I've cut out the, whatever it is, and another 3mm piece of birch, and then glue it on top here. So, oh look, it's my last nerve, and it's hanging by a string. Or insert word here of your choosing. But if we take a look at just this engraving, and I look at the preview, right now that's set up, and the estimated time is 24, almost 24.5 minutes to do one. And these are going to be all the same. Preview, 24.5 minutes. Now currently what I have set up in the black layer for the engraving, I am doing a crosshatch with a line after fill because I really want this to be a really good, deep, dark, and precise engraving because the letters are so fine. But I've also got it set right now on fill all shapes at once. If I switch just to fill shapes individually and say okay, remember we were at 24, almost 24.5 minutes before. Now we take a look at this and preview. That's 25, and that added a minute to it. This one, preview, same thing, 2522. This one, preview, 2521. So that's the same. All right, and you would expect them to be. But now we come here to fill groups together and say okay. Now let's look at this one and preview. 2423. That's the same as it was original, right? Well, let's look at this one. 21.4. So that just took off 3 minutes. And this one, 1950. So that's just under 20 minutes. That's 20 minutes, and this one is the original at 24.5, so it's saving almost 4.5 minutes between those two different pieces there, and that's doing fill groups together. So what's different about those? Well, because it's fill groups together, I have these grouped differently. When I click on this one, you'll notice, there we go, all of the black layer is grouped together. So with fill groups together, well, that's one group. So it's going to fill all of that at one time, just like it was when it was fill all shapes at once. This one, if I click on it, oh look, it's my as a group, last is a group, and as a group, and it's hanging by a string as a group. And that one was the one that actually added time to it. But down here, what I've done is that top layer of black engraving is one group, and this is one group. So the difference here, and if we look at, well, let's do this. We'll do, well, I'll grab all three of them. Grab all three of them, go into preview. So here is everything all grouped together. So right now I've got the traversal lines being shown, and if you don't know about that, right here is a toggle switch in the bottom corner that you can turn on and off to show your traversal moves. Now, what is a traversal move? That's a move that the laser is making and it's not doing anything. There's no engraving going on, it's just a travel. And all of this red in here, all of that is wasted time and wasted energy. We come down here to the next one, and you can see we've eliminated a lot of that travel, but this one was actually longer than this one with all the excessive travel. And that's because it's doing each individual, oh look, each, and then up around, oh look, it's my. Then coming over here and doing L-A-S-T. Well, the laser is going, in fact, you can see the difference in the colors of the red where they overlap right there. You can see the traversal moves. This is the overscanning. And they're already overlapping, so it's already traveling that same distance. In fact, it's going over that same distance twice here, and there's where you get your added time. It's actually going over the same distances and sometimes twice. But this one, with those all grouped together, oh look, it's my last, is all one group. You do have a lot of traversal moves across this bottom where it's not doing anything that you still have up here, because O, or the O and O and the Y in my, they're in the same group, and it's going to, and as it scans back and forth, it's going to go right past that last. Well, include the last in oh look, it's my, because it's going right by it anyway, might as well engrave it. So that's why all of that's was being passed over multiple times, and there's your increased time. So you have to pay attention to how your grouping's done and which option you're using when you go to engrave. Because doing these at 19 minutes and 50 seconds versus 24 and a half minutes, almost a 5-minute savings, at 9 of them, that would cut that engrave down to 45 minutes, less than it would be the other way it was structured. So pay attention to your groupings and pay attention to which option you have selected here. One way is not the best way all the time, and it might take you 3 or 4 minutes to figure out which one's the best option, and just using your preview screen to see, okay, well, this one is 19 and a half minutes. Yep, or 1950, almost 20 minutes. And that's going to give me my shortest time. Well, if I spent 5 or 10 minutes figuring that out, but yet it's going to save me a total of 45 minutes this time. But if I'm doing another one of these, well, that's an hour and a half. If I'm doing 18 of these instead of 9, well, I just saved over an hour and a half's time by grouping these and engraving them in this fashion. Alright guys, so I said it'd be a short one. This is a short one for me, and I do thank you for watching. If you are appreciating this channel, I ask you to seriously consider going over to patreon.com/hobowithwood, becoming a regular supporter of the channel and help keep this channel going. I have started coupons for my patrons. For my website, hobowithwood.com, bronze level patrons get 60% off all my files. Silver patrons get 80% off all my files. Gold level gets 100% off all of my digital files. And hopefully beginning first of the year, I will start being able to offer some product and not just digital files. The coupons are going to be good for digital files only. So patreon.com/hobowithwood, please consider jumping over there and help keep this channel going throughout the next year. And to all of my existing patrons, thank you for your support this year. I hope you've had a very wonderful Thanksgiving. We're coming up on Christmas. Hope you have a wonderful Christmas. And I'm Steve, Hobo with Wood, and I'll see you in the next video.